Hello, hello. This is my part 3 of my pockets guide for enchanters. And I think this video I will not have gameplay because I'm first of all too lazy, and second of all, some development has happened. Um, but before I begin, I would like to just give a quick overview of what the build is. TLDR, the build is that you don't build boots on your enchanters. It is a grief. It is a waste of gold. You're basically spending half an enchanter item's worth of gold on boots. It's not worth it. You want to go as utility heavy. You never go any defensive one. You always go Dreammaker or Celestial Opposition, the one that heals and gives movement speed, are the only two ones I would even consider, but you should always 99% of the time go Dreammaker. It's just too broken. This item is turbo cancel broken even after the nerfs they did like 2 patches ago or whatever. Like, it's actually disgusting how this item has not been like gutted to the ground for a free item. But now let's go to the new development. So this comment, right, about from this player named Soraka, or this account from Soraka727, and they say, how about taking Magic Footwear and not buying tier 2 boots? It might be worth considering in games where the movement speed makes a difference early on without compromising your item spikes, although you trade, and like they just talk about like how you lose some of the resolve tree, because with my original build, you went full Gathering Storm and full resolve, you went full scaling on enchanters, you just did not like try anything else. So the page I came up with was this, right? This is the page. So basically, first of all, there's this testing, okay? But let's go to the pros and cons. So before we had the resolve page, we had Font of Life and Revitalize, but now we have Boots, Cosmic Insight, and Celerity. So first of all, you have to now always take Celerity, just because if you're gonna do this Boots playstyle, you can't like 50 do a little bit of each. You kind of want to go one way or the other. And so, let's talk about the trade-offs. So first of all, you were losing 5 to 10% heal shield power, which is around like, I would say around like 800 gold worth. It's between 400 and 800 gold, where it's like, so average you lose around 600 gold on average worth of heal and shield power, and you lose Font of Life, which is kind of an undefinable amount of like healing. Like, let's just say it's like, I mainly did it for Staff of Flowing Water trigger. So if you're a champion who can't really use Staff of Flowing Water, I think Font of Life is kind of useless because Loki, this Keystone is so bad. It's one of the worst. The only reason I thought it was good was because of Staff of Flowing Water. And you're also losing 10 ability haste, which is around like, what, 1,000 gold. No, not 500 gold worth of CDR. And the cooldown on takedown is kind of fake, so we don't worry about that. So you're losing around 1,000 like ish gold worth of stats, but in exchange you are getting around 50 to 40 movement speed, which is basically like Swifty's level of movement speed. I think Swifty's is 60-ish. I could be wrong. And you're getting CDR on your summoner spells. Slash the item CDR in certain champions actually makes a huge difference. Like, it just depends on what champion. But if you like are Janna and you want to build oh, I'm blanking on the item's name. The one that gives you movement speed and you press it. So like the item haste is not like useless on a lot of champions. It's actually pretty relevant. Even like Soraka, I build Redemption later on, or like Lake. So like, yeah, I personally right now on the side of inspiration. I really like this, and I like the fact that you are losing a little bit on the healing aspect, but I think the fact that it's just easier to play. Like, it really is a lot easier to play. I've only played 2 games also, so like, just know that, keep that in mind. So like, pros and cons, I've only played 2 games, so I'm not gonna like give a definitive judgment versus I played like over 50 games of the Resolve Tree, and to be honest, both those games I played I lost, but we're learning. Anyways, so like, there are pros and cons. That's all I have to say. I will test it more and give you guys a more definitive answer in like a week or so. But as of right now, I kind of like it, and I think there's a more alternate playstyle that people can like easily adapt to, because you don't actually lose any movement speed with this build. You actually maintain all of it. I would say you would have more movement speed, But the biggest issue I had with this build is that there's no room at all in your build. Like, if you were to itemize, right, with the, you just like do this build, you would have Dreammaker, which takes up 1 item slot. After 2 items, and let's assume this is just magical footwear, you're never completing boots until after 3 items, maybe after. Please watch my first video for a more in-depth guide on that. Like, but you only have 2 item slots, and it feels really bad building the items when you're like, especially if you're building that. Oh my god, how am I forgetting the name of the item? Dawn Core, not Dawn Core. Dawn Core's a 3 component build item, and so a lot of the times you're gonna be sitting on a lot of gold, and it feels really bad. That's the biggest cons. But anyways, any doubters? Something, but that's just some side tangent I want to give about the build. You can choose which way you want to go, but right now I don't know which one is better. But I would like to say for all the people who are doubting my build, just give it a try. Like try it in a normal game, try in a ranked game. I don't care. Give the no boots build a try. Or now I guess the now it's not no boots. Now it's a magical footwear build a try. Like see how it feels and go from there. Like the you will notice a substantial difference in your healing and shielding or whatever you're doing as your champion. You will notice it immediately. Like you'll be like, wow. And you'll notice it also because you'll look at your enemy support and how ahead you are in items compared to them. And once you notice that, you'll be like, wow, you just can't go back once you notice that. So now let's talk about who can do this playstyle because I don't think everyone can do this playstyle equally. So first of all, easy mode. I think all these five champions can do this with absolute ease. Milio and Nami, I think, are like the ideal examples of this build because you literally could just throw your E, W, and Q from like a mile away and ultimate, and like just go back and fog of vision until your cooldowns come back up. You have no reason to be like there once your abilities are used. Do you know what I mean? And the best part about Nami is your W bounces, so even if there's like an ally you want to heal that's like even further in, you like W the 80 carry or something like that, that W bounces to an enemy, and then that W then bounces to the ally champ you want to heal. So it's very funny, but like I think this is like the champions you should always do this playstyle on of no boots because really, why do you need movement speed on any of these champions? Okay. Next is I think average difficulty. These are champions where you have to actually like think a little bit more and like you gotta like be in the fight a little bit more to be more productive with your champion. I think Janna is one of them. Her ultimate is so good as an ability, but you kind of have to be a little bit closer to your team, as well as her W. But I think her E is pretty far away, so you can just like cast at max range to whatever champ you want to shield. As well as the fact that she has a lot of built-in movement speed. So if you do the inspiration path of the build, you do get the benefits of all the movement speed bonuses without having to spend 1,000 gold. Plus, you can build your item components faster on Janna, which I think is like turbo broken. Karma, I think, is also on the harder end because it's like you want to land your abilities for your ultimate to go on a lower cooldown so that your REs come up faster. And then her root also, you want to be in range of your enemies for like 2 seconds. So I do think she is a bit on the average difficulty. And then on the highest end of average difficulty is I think Soraka, just because you need to land your Q on Soraka. In my opinion, I think like she loses like 30% of her healing is on her Q because like her W does like let's say 200, then her Q will do like 90 or 80 healing. But the advantage of Soraka is she can play deeper in pockets due to the fact that her ultimate is global, so you can like sit pretty far away from the team. And then when the team fight happens, you can like ult and then you can walk into the fight, so you have a lot more leniency on that. Next, these are hard champions. Champions I think are incredibly difficult to do this playstyle on. Seraphine's one of them. And the reason why Seraphine's one of them is, first of all, her W gets stronger the more allies are near you, so you kind of want to be in there. Also the fact that in order to trigger Echoes of Helia and Diamond, you need to be doing damage with Echoes of Helia. In order to do damage, you need to land your abilities. And in order to land your abilities, you need to be closer to your enemies. So that's the one thing. Also the fact that, like, yeah, it's just harder. Like, I think it is a little bit harder on Seraphine than other enchanters, since she's also extremely immobile. I think Sona, in my opinion, is the hardest enchanter to do this on. As you can see from my god-awful abysmal win rate, but you should. I'm just putting the win rate out there for laughs and giggles. But like, I try. All these games, by the way, are with Sona with the optimal build, with like just fully late game build. The reason why I think it's really hard on Sona is because first of all, her heal and shields are super close range. Like you have to be like basically melee range to the ally you want to heal and shield. Second of all, you want to be in your team instead of like in the corner. Third of all, it's like you need to land your empowered auto, which is like really hard to do like without movement speed. So I think it is. I still think it is the best build on Sona, but I think it's very hard to do on Sona. So that's why the inspiration way of going with Sona might be the way to go. because you know, first of all, like it just gives you that movement speed you need, but also like doesn't let you miss on your item power spikes. Um, but I will point out the reason why my win rate is also really low on Sona is not just because of the build. Like it's because of the fact that I think Sona is very like like it's not stimulating enough for me to play. So a lot of the times like 15 minutes in the game I'm just like I'm bored. Let me go do something interesting. I like flash alt in or something like that. So like I think that's more of a player issue than like the champions issue. And then champions you should never do this build on. Senna, please never do it on Senna. Like you literally need to always be in auto Q range with Senna, and then like, so you need mobility. You need boots to like be able to actually like play the game, and then any engaged champions. So yeah, I just want to give a little update on the build. I know I keep saying the next video will be like I'll show clips and gameplay footage of me like doing this pocket gameplay, but I'm just too lazy to comb through all my games and like find exact moments to like where I did it, as well as the fact that now that the inspiration one is out, I've been like playing it more. I want to play it more, and I want to see how I feel about it. And once I get a good vibe, I'll actually choose like mostly my next video will be more deterministic of what build path is better for where. But I also, after the pocket gameplay, I also want to do a video on why you should always take Gathering Storm instead of Scorch on every enchanter. It's actually criminal if you do anything else, in my opinion. Um, and yeah, that's kind of the video. It's kind of a short one, only like closer to like 15 minutes than 20. Um, but yeah, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. And thank you so much for that Soraka player. Very good video. And thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.